Welcome, dear friends, here from Montenegro. I want to now outline why I like Montenegro so much, why I think it's a perfect role model for other countries in transition, what Montenegro did right and what it did wrong. There's also issues, but why it's very important to study Montenegro for the international development community and also for the politicians, for friends who want to rebuild their countries from a very difficult situation, and how to develop a country, and also for the countries which are emerging. I'm advocating for 34 new countries in the ex-Russia, because I say ex-Yugoslavia, ex-Russia. Here's the logic. Russia will be defeated now, so it will lose the war in Ukraine, and then Russia will be as well in a very problematic situation. It will fall apart like Yugoslavia, and then there is the moment when the question of how to design the new countries, what currency, what foreign policy, what kind of development strategy to have. And here Montenegro case is really very important, and I really recommend it. So let's come back how Montenegro developed. It was already a state from 1878 to 1918, then it was taken over by Serbia. And so there's a historic legacy to fall back that not every country has, but some countries in ex-Russia have it. So they can work on that one, but it doesn't matter if you have it or not, because most of the institutions, the identity had to be rebuilt and of course developed. This is very important. But of course, what they didn't want to be is with this genocidal Serbia anymore. That was the decisive moment in 97 when Milosevic thought he can go full in and take Kosovo in a way and ethnically cleanse it, because that was the starting point. He thought now, after he has seen the weakness of the Dayton Agreement and that he basically has in some ways got away with genocide, in many ways actually. And then he thought he will go all in for Kosovo, and then the resistance came, and so all the things developed, and Montenegro didn't want to be part of that second war. So they opted out. Here the parallel is with the second war in Ukraine. Many of the ex-Russian states like Chechnya, Karelia, Buryatia, they see that their children have to die, that utterly useless and badly fought war. It will go very bad for Russia, and then the moment comes to break away, and I hope it will come in 2024 for the breakup of Russia, and then the states need to be prepared. Where was the advantage? Here, of course, you have geographical advantages, but the strict will to the West was from the beginning there. So there was a clarity in NATO and EU membership. Expressed, for example, they have withdrawn from the DINA. They have introduced the D-Mark here, the German mark, just like that, without asking. And then, because they were not a state in 2002, they somehow slipped away under the some visibility parameter, and they introduced the euro together also with Kosovo. And that was a big step. So I'm recommending a currency peg for all the new countries. I'm recommending a Western orientation of the currency. And of course, also strategically, Montenegro now is already member of NATO, just 11 years after independence. And that's something really grandiose and amazing, and that's really good. So here is something which can be copied as well. And obviously the clear direction towards the European Union. Because here's the logic, all these countries, they need, of course, they are smaller, fragile countries, they need a kind of regional unification process. And this was actually provided here by the West, the G7. They have built a stability pact. We need also a kind of stability pact for the countries of ex-Russia. And then we need to go into that direction. And we need to make sure that we have exactly the existing structure, the Regional Cooperation Council in Sarajevo, CEFTA, the Central European Free Trade Agreement, and another 20 organizations from the energy community, the transport community, the rule of law, regional benchmarking mechanism, the regional anti-corruption initiative. There is also a regional energy stock exchange, and all these regional things in the Western Balkans. Of course, the former ex-Soviet Union countries should be invited. We don't need a separate process called EAP, Eastern Partnership in the East. We need this process for all of them. What we can do, of course, Eastern Partnership is very useful for the future, for the countries who are further in the east, like whatever, the Central Asian countries. And some of the, so we can do a double strategy in a sense, Eastern Partnership and Regional Cooperation Council, but it must be a permanent institution like the Regional Cooperation Council. That's the logic. And of course, clear Western integration is very important. Then a big focus on infrastructure together with the European Union. And of course, to from the beginning adopt everything as if you would be already in the European Union. Why is Montenegro and Kosovo working better than other Balkan countries? Because basically their regulatory system was built up from the scratch, especially in Kosovo. That was also a very good example. So you need to basically adopt from the beginning in this framework. And also it's very important to be in the Council of Europe and also in the OECD. I'm in favor of Russia to be excluded now because they were from the OECD, from the Council of Europe, but also from the OECD. It needs to be excluded. But the offer should be made to all the new republics immediately to be in the Council of Europe and to be in OECD and of course in all the regional cooperation mechanisms. I have lifted them as well, and to have a free trade agreement via CEFTA with all the new countries as well from ex-Russia. So that's the logic. And if Montenegro can do it, you can do it as well. And that's the logic, I think, is very, very clear. I'm calling here from Podgorica, and I will then go to all the capitals of the new countries. And this is simply the wonderful future for these people and the people, no matter what their ethnic groups, because it's very important. Montenegro is now also a multi-ethnic, very diverse country. Like most of the countries developing out of Russia will be the same. Like here, Albanians, Turks, Bosnians, Montenegrinians, Serbs, and there's a big mixture. There's also a lot of internationals now living here. And this is the best way. Economically, it's very important to set on a double direction of attracting FDI, but also supporting domestic SMEs. How to do that? It's very important to have the cadastre, the land register from the beginning fixed. This is the backbone of the whole society and of economic development. You can do basically no economic development with a non-working cadastre. So having a land register which works is a prime basis for all this. And this must be clear in the ownership, in accuracy of what is what, and that is very, very important, and it must be really reliable. In Montenegro they did that very well, and so hundreds of millions of foreign capital is moving into Montenegro regularly. This is very important. And then obviously also to have something like innovation and SME support mechanism in terms of funding, loans, subsidies. This is very, very good as well. And also to work with the deregulation effort to digitalize all the administration and the licensing and the supervision, and not to harass them for corruptive means. Because that's always the big problem why the economy is stuck, because of corruption. Because if you have to pay enormous fees on an illegitimate and non-decent manner, then it of course gets very difficult to make business. And many of the resource-rich countries have such a model. You have to pay the politicians in order to get the resources. But that's not the normal economic development. The normal economic development is here in the construction sector, is in the tourism sector, is with the diaspora buying apartment, is of course tourism is very important in any society. It is of course the agriculture sector, real hard work, but also machinery and construction, seeing what kind of assets there are which are exportable, and then to focus on them and also to support them. This is very important, of course, in the framework of the WTO. So all the countries emerging out of Russia must be in the WTO immediately applying. Don't wait like Uzbekistan and Azerbaijan and, make it transparent, go to the WTO directly. This is the integration into West, into the global governance for economics and for politics. And this must be done from the day one in a declaration of independence, written from the day one, that this is our way forward towards UN, WTO, OECD, Council of Europe, a free trade agreement with the European Union, of course also to have the membership in Regional Cooperation Council, and also then the NATO membership. Maybe not for all, but for those who want and those are ready, yes, absolutely. if you are part of, if you want. It's a self-definition ultimately. And some countries like Austria fail, but why shouldn't other countries be ready for that, yeah? When they really want it? And then of course there's the process, fulfilling the standards, that's always necessary. There will be support for that one, and that is the way to build up new countries. With the currency as the euro, with the NATO security, with, of course, or a similar kind of alliance system integrated in the West, and also EU regulatory access, regional cooperation in the areas which matter, and to join, or in other areas of the world, to set up similar mechanisms, yeah, of regional cooperation. That's extremely important to get rid of internal borders, customs borders, to reduce corruption at these choke points between countries, the borders, and also to use digitalization and all these modern means of digital governance, and to provide efficient services for the people. And that's really very important. But also support the domestic SMEs, and not exploit the FDI, because if you are to rush and ask for a lot of money, and then they will run away and not come and not invest. And you have to make this decent. Montenegro has managed to do it decent. You can say, of course, they have the magic coast, yeah, of course, but also the cities are developing, the whole country is developing. And that's the magic of this Montenegro model. And I recommend it very much for all the new countries emerging out of Russia. And I'm calling for all the countries' leaders to at least study, go to Montenegro, understand what's going on. How could that happen? It happened. And it's similar true for Kosovo as well, by the way. It was much more controversial, had one war to be fought, but it was just and fair to do it. And it's also important from the beginning to recognize each other. I'm very critical for the Ukrainians, the Georgians, the Azerbaijanis, Armenians. They all have, for their own internal reasons, or Moldova, not recognized Kosovo, and it creates a big problem for us. And then I say, please do it. And then they're angry. No, we don't change the state policy. But what policy is that? It's not fair. It's not good. So we must have decent ways forward. And that's the way to do it. And that's what I'm calling for. And that is what I hope will be also done in terms of the new countries emerging out of ex-Russia. I'm in contact now, and I'm ready to work in the future on this issue, because I strongly believe that all the nations who are like bunkered in this prison of nation, which is the Russian Federation, this terrible terror state which is killing so many people in Ukraine now, I'm most happy if it will end, and we should support this process politically to basically work on the destruction of that terrorist federation. And then the people there will live much better, as they do now in ex-Yugoslavia, in the 7 states. I think it's a wonderful example. And no, don't get me started on the nuclear, because the nuclear is really another issue. No nukes will be utilized in the real world. It's just, a potential theoretical threat level in order to scare people against nuclear. But in reality, the nuclear assured destruction works. We know that our nuke work much better than the Russians, and can be much faster deployed. If the Russians start nuclear war, they will be annihilated, and of course it will be very dangerous for the rest of the world as well, but they will not start, and we will certainly will also not start, so there will be no nuclear escalation. Good, thanks a lot for watching, and please support Montenegro also wherever you are. It's a wonderful country, and copy the Montenegro success story. Bye, thanks a lot.